Oh, hey there. What's going on? Today is all about female empowerment. We're putting only females in universe mode and seeing what happens. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm on the select screen. I think what I'm going to do, I have to take out all of the males. I changed 205 Live into what I'm making here, so I'm just going to recruit all the current females and some of the legends too. I'm just going to avoid created wrestlers and ones that don't really exist. So we're going to start with Alexa Bliss. Next we got Alicia Fox. Next we have Asuka. And of course we got to get Bayley. We're also going to avoid duplicates as well, so I'm only going to choose the ones that are the most current basically. So Becky Lynch, Beth Phoenix, Bianca Belair, Billie Kay, Brie Bella. We're going to get Candice LeRae and Carmella. Alright, next we're going to get Charlotte Flair. And of course we got to have Chyna. We're going to get Dakota Kai and Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Io Shirai, Kairi Sane, Lacey Evans, Lana, Lita and Liv Morgan, Mandy Rose, Maria Kanellis, Maurice, Mia Yim, Mickie James, Molly Holly, Natalya and Naomi, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Nikki Cross, Paige, Peyton Royce, Rhea Ripley, Ronda Rousey, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan and Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, Stephanie McMahon, Tamina, Toni Storm, Trish Stratus, and Zelina Vega. Alright, so that's going to do it. It looks like we got 49 participants. I'm going to set up the tag teams to make them a little more current. And I'm going to get all the divisions set up, and then we're going to get started. You know how we're going to do it. We're going to do universe mode for 1 year until WrestleMania, and we're going to see how it goes. So let's see how it goes. Alright, well I got everything set up. It looks like I'm only doing a women's championship and a tag team championship and also a Money in the Bank. You can actually see right here we have a Money in the Bank match starting things off on Money in the Bank. So it's going to be all female. I expect that the game won't be able to process this correctly. I think there will be some glitches because of making it all female and the way that the pay-per-views are laid out, but who knows? Let's just find out. So currently for the women's champion I have Rhea Ripley, and the tag team champions are Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, just like how it is currently if you're watching this recently anyway. So to start things off, we got Ronda Rousey, Io Shirai, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, Sasha Banks, Toni Storm, Mia Yim, and Zelina Vega in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Next, we have Sarah Logan versus Maurice. We have Dakota Kai taking on Maria Kanellis. Fourth match is Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Lana and Naomi. A current feud, actually, but it seems as if it's not for the title. That's interesting. We got Alicia Fox versus Lita, Nikki Cross versus Sonya Deville. Ember Moon is challenging Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship. Lacey Evans is taking on Charlotte Flair. And then we have another 8-woman ladder match. But it really isn't for anything. It's just a regular ladder match. So let's find out what happens. Looks like Ronda Rousey is our Money in the Bank winner. Sarah Logan beat Maurice. Dakota Kai beat Maria. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax beat Lana and Naomi. Lita beat Alicia Fox. Sonya Deville lost to Nikki Cross. And it looks like Rhea Ripley retains her title against Ember Moon. Charlotte Flair beats Lacey Evans. And Becky Lynch wins that 8-man ladder match. That doesn't really mean anything. Let's move on. Alright, next up we got Extreme Rules. Starting things off, we got Asuka taking on Bayley. Natalya and Tamina are taking on the Bella Twins. Carmella is taking on Sonya Deville. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are taking on Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Zelina Vega is taking on Alexa Bliss. Another non-title match for some reason. Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax versus Lana and Naomi. Becky Lynch is taking on Sasha Banks. Lacey Evans is taking on Charlotte Flair. And another Ember Moon versus Rhea Ripley match. So let's find out what happens. It looks like Bayley beat Asuka. Natalya and Tamina beat the Bella Twins. Carmella beat Sonya Deville. The Riot Squad beat the Iconics. Alexa Bliss beat Zelina Vega. Lana and Naomi beat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
I don't know that one.
Sasha Banks beat Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair beat Lacey Evans. And Ember Moon is the new women's champion. That's awesome. Let's see what happens next. Alright, our next pay-per-view is Summerslam, and kicking things off is Becky Lynch versus Ember Moon for the women's championship. That's pretty awesome. We got Brie Bella taking on Nikki Bella. Ooh, they're fighting each other. Dakota Kai taking on Carmella. Natalya and Tamina taking on Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. The Iconics taking on the Riot Squad. Mia Yim taking on Toni Storm. Kairi Sane taking on Io Shirai. Sasha Banks is taking on Alexa Bliss. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are taking on Lana and Naomi. Again, not for the titles. Asuka is taking on Chyna. Lacey Evans is taking on Charlotte Flair. Bayley's taking on Ronda Rousey. And we have a triple threat main event, Nikki Cross, Mickie James, and Sonya Deville. So let's see how this goes. It looks like Ember Moon retains her title. Nikki Bella beat Brie Bella. Dakota Kai beat Carmella. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose beat Natalya and Tamina. It looks like the Riot Squad beat the Iconics. Mia Yim beat Toni Storm. Io Shirai beat Kairi Sane. Alexa Bliss beat Sasha Banks. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax beat Lana and Naomi.
I'm not sure.
Asuka beat Chyna. Lacey Evans beat Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey beat Bayley. And it looks like Sonya Deville won that triple threat main event. So let's see what happens next. Alright, moving on to the next pay-per-view, we got Hell in a Cell. First, we got Alexa Bliss taking on Asuka. Io Shirai taking on Nikki Cross. Bianca Belair taking on Dakota Kai. And we finally have a tag team championship match. Finally. We have Natalya and Tamina challenging Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Awesome. We got Sonya Deville taking on Lacey Evans. Sasha Banks taking on Bayley. Kairi Sane is taking on Becky Lynch. And Charlotte Flair is challenging Ember Moon for the Women's Championship. And Hell in a Cell match is Mickie James versus Ronda Rousey. So let's see how this goes. Looks like Alexa Bliss beat Asuka. Nikki Cross beat Io Shirai. Bianca Belair beat Dakota Kai. And Natalya and Tamina are the new women's tag team champions. That's awesome. It looks like Lacey Evans beat Sonya Deville. Bayley beat Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch beat Kairi Sane. And Ember Moon retained her title against Charlotte Flair. And Ronda Rousey won the Hell in a Cell match against Mickie James. Alright, let's move on. Alright, our next pay-per-view, we got Super Showdown. This is actually running a lot more smoothly than I thought it would. It's actually pretty awesome. So first we got Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss. Mickie James versus Sonya Deville. The Iconics are taking on the Riot Squad again. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are challenging Natalya and Tamina for the Tag Team Championship. Lacey Evans is taking on Io Shirai. Mia Yim is taking on Toni Storm. Sasha Banks is taking on Bayley. Asuka's taking on Chyna. Ember Moon's taking on Ronda Rousey, but not for the title. Interesting. And then Becky Lynch is taking on Kairi Sane. Alright, so there's no world title match, but that's okay. It'll still be a good pay-per-view. Let's see what happens. Looks like Charlotte Flair beat Alexa Bliss. Sonya Deville beat Mickie James. The Riot Squad beat the Iconics again. Natalya and Tamina retain their tag team championships. Lacey Evans beat Io Shirai. Toni Storm beat Mia Yim. Sasha Banks beat Bayley. Chyna beat Asuka. Looks like Ronda Rousey beat Ember Moon, but it was a non-title match, so Ember Moon is still the women's champion. And Becky Lynch beat Kairi Sane. Let's move on. Alright, our next pay-per-view, we got Survivor Series. Starting things off, we got Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are challenging for those titles again. The Iconics are taking on the Riot Squad again. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are taking on Lana and Naomi. Mickie James is taking on Sasha Banks. Io Shirai is taking on Nikki Cross. Kairi Sane is taking on Becky Lynch. Ember Moon is defending her title against Ronda Rousey. And it looks like we have an 8-man elimination tag match. That's a Survivor Series style match because it's Survivor Series. So let's see what happens. Looks like Alexa Bliss beat Charlotte Flair. Natalya and Tamina retain their titles. Oh, and the Iconics finally beat the Riot Squad. It looks like Lana and Naomi beat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Sasha Banks beat Mickie James. Nikki Cross beat Io Shirai. Kairi Sane beat Becky Lynch. Ember Moon retains her title against Ronda Rousey. And it looks like Sonya Deville won, well, Sonya Deville's team anyway won the Survivor Series match. Let's see what goes on next. Alright, our next pay-per-view is Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Starting things off, we got Sasha Banks taking on Asuka. Maurice taking on Beth Phoenix. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose taking on the Riot Squad. Bianca Belair taking on Mia Yim. Io Shirai taking on Mickie James. Alicia Fox taking on Paige. We got Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking on Lana and Naomi. Nikki Cross is taking on Toni Storm. Kairi Sane is taking on Lacey Evans. Bayley is taking on Sonya Deville. Ember Moon is defending her title against Ronda Rousey once again. And the main event is Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Alexa Bliss in a triple threat TLC match. That would be awesome. So let's see what happens. It looks like Asuka beat Sasha Banks. Beth Phoenix beat Maurice. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose beat the Riot Squad. Mia Yim beat Bianca Belair. Io Shirai beat Mickie James. Paige beat Alicia Fox. Lana and Naomi beat Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Nikki Cross beat Toni Storm. Kairi Sane beat Lacey Evans. Bayley beat Sonya Deville. And Ember Moon retains her title. And it looks like Becky Lynch won that triple threat TLC match. Awesome. Let's see what happens next. Alright, that's where things start to get interesting. Now we're at the Royal Rumble. Kicking things off, we got Becky Lynch versus Kairi Sane. We got our women's 30-man Royal Rumble. We got Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose taking on the Riot Squad. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking on Lana and Naomi. Alexa Bliss is taking on Sonya Deville in an Extreme Rules match. Nikki Cross is taking on Toni Storm. Sasha Banks is taking on Bayley. Charlotte Flair is taking on Asuka. And Ember Moon is once again defending her women's title against Ronda Rousey. And I noticed that the tag titles aren't being defended too, so this is the second pay-per-view in a row. Hopefully they'll keep being defended. I almost forget who the tag team champions are. So I'm pretty sure it's Tamina and Natalya. But let's see what happens. Looks like Becky Lynch beat Kairi Sane. We'll find out who won the Women's Royal Rumble here in a second. The Riot Squad beat Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax beat Lana and Naomi. Alexa Bliss beat Sonya Deville. Toni Storm beat Nikki Cross. Sasha Banks beat Bayley. Charlotte Flair beat Asuka. Oh, and Ronda Rousey is the new women's champion. All right. So the Royal Rumble really changed a lot. So let's see what happens next. All right, our next pay-per-view is the Elimination Chamber. Kicking things off, we got Natalya and Tamina in a non-title match against the Iconics. We got Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose taking on the Riot Squad. We got Bianca Belair taking on Candice LeRae. We got an Elimination Chamber match, not for any title or anything. Bayley, Mia Yim, Alicia Fox, Io Shirai, Nikki Cross, and Sonya Deville. We got Kairi Sane taking on Charlotte Flair. Becky Lynch taking on Paige. And the main event is the 6-man Elimination Chamber. Alexa Bliss, Toni Storm, Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, and Asuka are challenging Ronda Rousey for the women's title in an Elimination Chamber match. That would be pretty awesome if that happened in real life. So let's see what happens. It looks like Natalya and Tamina beat the Iconics. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose beat the Riot Squad. Candice LeRae beat Bianca Belair. Nikki Cross won that Elimination Chamber match that wasn't for any title. Charlotte Flair beat Kairi Sane. Becky Lynch beat Paige. And Alexa Bliss is the new women's champion. That's awesome. That women's championship has changed hands quite a bit lately. That's really cool. All right, let's see what happens next. And it's really odd. I noticed the tag titles haven't been defended in quite a while, and I think that's just a glitch with the game. But let's see if it happens in Fastlane. Kicking things off, we got Becky Lynch versus Paige. Lacey Evans versus Mia Yim. Dakota Kai versus Mickie James. Sonya Deville versus Bianca Belair. Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Nikki Cross in a triple threat match. Natalya and Tamina taking on the Iconics. Kairi Sane is taking on Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey's taking on Io Shirai. Alexa Bliss is taking on Asuka in a non-title match. And the main event is the Riot Squad versus Lana and Naomi. There is not a single title defense on this show whatsoever. I guess that's the nature of WWE 2K20. It just doesn't know what to do with itself sometimes. So let's just see what happens. It looks like Paige beat Becky Lynch. Lacey Evans beat Mia Yim. Dakota Kai beat Mickie James. Bianca Belair beat Sonya Deville. Bayley won the triple threat match. Natalya and Tamina lost to the Iconics. Kairi Sane beat Charlotte Flair. Ronda Rousey beat Io Shirai. Alexa Bliss beat Asuka. And the Riot Squad beat Lana and Naomi. Alright, moving on to WrestleMania. Kicking things off, we got Sasha Banks taking on Bayley. Beth Phoenix taking on Maurice. Alicia Fox taking on Carmella. The Riot Squad taking on Lana and Naomi. Toni Storm taking on Candice LeRae. Sonya Deville is taking on Bianca Belair. Lacey Evans is taking on Dakota Kai. Kairi Sane is taking on Charlotte Flair. Nikki Cross is taking on Io Shirai. Lita is taking on Mickie James. Becky Lynch is taking on Paige. Asuka is taking on Ronda Rousey. And Chyna is challenging Alexa Bliss for the women's title. I completely forgot to check who the Royal Rumble winner was, so I'm assuming it was Chyna. So Chyna is challenging for the women's championship. And once again, I do not see a tag team title defense on here. And this is WrestleMania. So I guess we're not going to see the tag team titles getting defended here. But let's see what happens. It looks like Bayley beat Sasha Banks. Beth Phoenix beat Maurice. Carmella beat Alicia Fox. Naomi and Lana beat the Riot Squad. Toni Storm beat Candice LeRae. Bianca Belair beat Sonya Deville. Lacey Evans beat Dakota Kai. Charlotte Flair beat Kairi Sane. Nikki Cross beat Io Shirai. Lita beat Mickie James. Becky Lynch beat Paige. Asuka beat Ronda Rousey. And Chyna could not take that championship from Alexa Bliss. So what I'm going to do now is, since the Money in the Bank wasn't cashed in, I'm going to cash it in at the show after WrestleMania, just so we can have that cash in. And then we're going to go to the main event, Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss, and see what happens. And Ronda Rousey could not take the title from Alexa Bliss. So Alexa Bliss is still our women's champion. Alright guys, that was really fun. It was an all-female league. It looks like it glitched out and the tag team titles didn't get defended a lot. Maybe I could have put more titles in there. It's just they don't have a lot of different women's titles. That's the only problem. They need to have more though. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.